Hi everyone, I'm here to tell you about how you got here. Unless, of course, you flew in and then I'm sorry about your luggage because you took United. So I'm Nate Graff. I'm a grad student here, so I've spent 5 years at this university. Hopefully I'm defending this quarter and will graduate, otherwise I'll be here in the fall again. And I think I've driven the length of 101 between here and the Bay Area about 30 times if you include both directions. So I was like, well, Highway 101 is something I know about, so let's talk about it. I also want to say, if you use the word "the" in the Bay Area, you're wrong and vice versa. So you can't say I drove past Tesla on the 880, and I can't say I took 405 to San Diego. They're both wrong and bad. So instead, what we're going to do is, if you're south of Santa Barbara, you have to use the word "the." And if you're north of Salinas, at least, that's kind of fuzzy there, you can't use the word "the." And if you're between Santa Barbara and Salinas, so right here, you can do whatever you want. So for example, though, you can say, I got on 101 in San Jose and I stayed on it until the 405. So highways in the US, though. It started out when the car was invented with just informal auto trails, which were locally owned and operated. And then in 1926, the federal government was like, we need to organize this better. And then you had interstates with Eisenhower. The highway system, though, odd-numbered routes are north-south, evens are east-west. And the low numbers start in the northeast and increase as you go left down. And the highways didn't have a minimum design standard. It was initially just whatever streets were already there. US 101 is 1,540 miles or 2,478 science. And it starts in Los Angeles and goes to Olympia. And it was one of the original highways, and it's actually longer than I-5 by 11 miles, in California at least. 60% of its length in California is, quote, rural, according to whatever definition that is. In 101, in slow, you get about 120,000 cars daily. In Mountain View, you get 459,000 daily, on average. And so, in between Los Angeles and San Francisco, the highway largely follows El Camino Real, which is the road that connects the 21 missions constructed by Spain contemporaneously with the American Civil War, which is pretty neat to think about how that lines up. It actually originally went all the way down to San Diego, believe it or not. And since then, though, when the interstate system came into effect, it actually took over 101. And so there are parts of there are parts of the 5 have to follow the policy. The busiest part, though, is at 101 and Havenhurst Avenue in Los Angeles, which sees on average 623,000 cars daily, or 55,000 cars during its peak hour during the year, which is crazy. Here in slow, we get the steepest part of 101, which is the Cuesta Grade, which rises 1,200 feet over the course of about 8 miles, which I learned from looking at bike like Strava. It's really pretty. Also, there is a couple of remnants of the Metric Conversion Act of 1975 on it, which totally worked. Right north of Gonzales going north, you see there's a distance in kilometers because we know what that means. I was also curious, since I was talking about 101, I've always seen these business routes, so I wanted to know what it was. Basically, it's politics. If you're near a city that has businesses in it, people are like, oh, we want to call this 101 with businesses. And the north part actually loops around Olympic National Park until it hits Olympia next to Seattle. I just thought this was funny. If any Seattleites are in the room, you can tell me more about this after the talk. It was like, ooh, it loops. There are other Highway 101s, though, in the world. E101 in Europe links Moscow and Kiev, so that has no strain whatsoever. Brazil also has a 101 along its coast. British Columbia named theirs after US 101, but it doesn't connect. There's a band called Highway 101. This is a screenshot of their website. It's too funny not to include this. And they play both kinds of music, country and western. And there's also a helicopter named the US 101. It's a Lockheed Martin VH-71 Kestrel. Kestrel, that's how you pronounce it. And it was like between 2007 and 2009 or so. We made like 20 of these. It's just helicopter. I want to leave you on some notes on highways and their relation to life. So, as we all know, life's like a road that you travel on. And there's one day here and the next day. It's Rascal Flats, if you didn't. Anyway. Thank you.